this time on mega shippers. Craig Williams has 48 hours to get £1.5 million worth of supercars to Spain in pristine condition, ready for an exclusive race day.
When the lorries open up, I'm hoping that I see the cars all in exactly the same places as where we loaded them back in London.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, air freight manager Chris Schumacher nervously waits for one of the world's largest planes to load a power plant rotor urgently needed 16,000 kilometres away in Australia.
A little bit of a panic going on. We've got to build the ramp system and get this piece loaded as quickly as possible.
And in Montrose, Scotland, Mark Sesford is preparing to receive 2,500 tonnes of weather-sensitive fertilizer worth £45 million. Vital for Scottish farming that will be ruined if it gets wet.
It's a complete weather working cargo. In the last 30 seconds, the weather has changed, and who knows what it's going to be in the next 30 seconds. It's not good.
Around the world,
we are going in. Let's go.
There's a hidden army of workers.
Things can go wrong really, really fast.
Who, in the face of danger and turbulent times, work in all weathers, day and night, to deliver no matter what.
Stop.
Step into the $6 trillion world of heavy logistics. Hey! Meet the people for who no load is too heavy.
Anything up in the air, it wants to come down.
No item too big.
It's a case of demolition, destruction, and make it happen.
And no route too difficult.
The more that I get off, the less stress that I have.
An industry dedicated to one common goal.
Keep it coming, mate, keep it coming.
Keeping the planet moving by land, air and sea. Meet the mega shippers. Ronda, a tranquil hilltop town in southern Spain, surrounded by the mountains of Andalusia. But just 3 kilometers away, life moves at a very different pace. This is Ascari, a private race resort and playground for the mega rich. The track is enjoyed by private members and specialist car clubs from around the world. But getting cars to the starting line is a high-stakes operation. For one company, it starts over 2,000 kilometres away in the leafy suburbs of St John's Wood, North London. Craig Williams, boss of Supercar Club Auto Vivendi, is laying on a special race event for the members. Today, some of the club's prized possessions are being collected for a 48-hour journey by land and sea.
Big day today. Months of prep have gone into this. We're basically heading out to Ascari for our ultimate supercar track day. We're going to be loading 4 of our best cars. They're the most track-focused cars we have, and we're going to be putting them on the transporter to take them down to Spain to have some fun in the sun.
The club's fleet of supercars is worth a staggering £6 million, and Craig's sending 4 of his personal favourites.
We've got our Lamborghini Huracan Performante Spider. Beautiful car, amazing on track, 4-wheel drive, masses of power, big V10 engine. It just sounds sensational. We've then got the McLaren 720S, 720 PS, absolute rocket ship, twin-turbo V8, rear-wheel drive, and it's one that everybody gets excited to drive. We've got the Porsche GT3 RS, again, probably Porsche's most track-focused supercar. People love driving it, and it makes for a really exciting experience once you're on the track.
The combined value is £750,000. Small change compared to this. The McLaren Center, worth a staggering £872,000.
We've been so excited about getting this car. We think it's the best looking Senna on the road, and it's obviously named after the iconic racing driver Ayrton Senna. 700 plus bhp, it's just unbelievable. Tons of carbon on it. You can see as you get down to the back, this huge wing which is pushing down to keep the back stuck to the track. It's a V8 twin turbo. I mean, it's an absolutely monstrous car. This thing, oh my God, it's different league. It's different league. I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it.
But transporting over £1.5 million worth of racing cars is a costly and risky business.
If you forget to raise the lift kit and you catch that carbon spoiler, it's tens of thousands of pounds, and it means that the car then can't be used, so it's a big issue. This isn't painted on top or any sort of stripe, that's completely smooth there. McLaren Special Operations MSO, this is £104,000 of MSO paint on this car. The cars are our business, and we take our business really seriously, as much as we have fun with it. But yeah, it's a concern. It's a concern. You have to plan for the worst and just make sure that you're on top of everything and you've nailed everything so that you can mitigate the risk as much as possible.
Parked up 5 minutes away, Transporter's PGVM are ready to load. They're specialists in moving classic and high-value cars. The 27-ton truck has an elevating roof to create maximum headroom, and a race-tail lift ramp for low-suspension racers, all in a bid to avoid a loading disaster.
Hiya, mate. You all right?
Yeah, all good.
You all right?
Supercar transport driver Lewis Grimshaw is the man responsible for getting Craig's pride and joy to Spain in one piece.
It's just getting all set up, so what we'll do is we'll get the McLaren Center on first, so if we get these cars out of the way, squeeze that down, and then I think we'll have the 720 then Porsche, and then the Lamborghini, and I think that should be all good.
As the showroom is tucked away on a narrow side street, the truck can't get any closer, so Craig needs to drive the McLaren Center to meet it.
We'll just move it literally 100 metres to the truck. Just being very conscious of everything around us, because if anything happens in this last part, then everything's been for nothing.
The Supercar's first pit stop on the 2,000-kilometre journey to Spain will be the port of Portsmouth, 3 hours away. Craig will travel on ahead by plane, but to stick to schedule and make their ferry booking, they've allowed 45 minutes to load. Craig lines the wheels up, but on the lift ramp there's only 10 centimetres spare either side. And underneath, just 5 centimetres of ground clearance.
Checking the clearance of the diffuser. Make sure it's all good. Doesn't touch. Go up with the ramp.
But getting it on the ramp turns out to be the easy part. It takes nerves of steel to get it in. In some areas, there's now only 3 centimetres either side.
A little bit more, Dan. Just a little bit more. Yeah, you're in there. Yeah, the trucks can't get any bigger, but cars nowadays seem to be getting wider. So it's a bit of a skill to try and get them inside the truck. That's why we fold the wing mirrors in, and rather have with cars is expensive. Have 2 eyes are better than 1, obviously.
Okay, it's in. Center's loaded. That's good news. Watch this door. It's very, very tight in here. Not much room for manoeuvre. Yeah, very pleased that's loaded. Big weight off my mind. And now we'll go back and get some other cars.
The McLaren has to be raised to create maximum headroom for the next car to load. At the flick of a switch, the deck is moved upwards by a hydraulic lift. 1 down, 3 to go. Next, the McLaren 720S. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.9 seconds. Even a tiny scratch on this dream machine will cost thousands of pounds.
Rolling with the 720, check all the usual things, lift kits up, fold the mirrors in, give us that little bit more clearance once we're on.
But once the Porsche GT3 RS is brought on board, space is even tighter.
Very tight. Enough counter speed. There we go.
Which means the last car to be loaded, the Lamborghini, will be the biggest challenge yet.
Wide car, as you can see. Also, the doors are absolutely biblically wide, so got to be super careful getting out on the truck with this one. I'll have to do my contortionist act, or maybe climb out through the window, which I've done once before. which isn't pretty for anyone. There we go. Right, let's get going.
The Lamborghini is 1.9 meters wide. The inside of the truck is just 1.92 meters wide, leaving Craig a mere 2 centimeters to play with. The safety of Craig's £250,000 motor all comes down to his skill behind the wheel.
Keep going straight.
Any error of judgment could spell disaster.
Keep an eye on this one, because they're a bit wide, Lamborghinis.
Just got to pray there's enough room for me to open the door. Otherwise, I might be staying in here all the way down to Ascari, which would not be good.
You're in there, Dan. You're in. Yeah,
And the precious cargo's ready to roll.
Job done. Good work, gang. Oh. Okay, so that's it. We're all loaded. Pressure's off for me a little bit. It's been a full-on morning, but good job by the team. Cars are on. Little babies are on their way down to Spain, so I look forward to seeing them safely on the other side. Pressure's still on for the truck guys. They've got to push on to make that ferry, but that's down to them now. My bit's over.
With 5.5 tons of elite machines loaded, the transporter's ready to head to Spain for the Vivendi race day.
Job done. Next stop, Spain.
Lewis has got just 3 hours to get over £1.5 million worth of supercars through London's lunchtime traffic and down to Portsmouth. Charlotte, North Carolina, home to a high-tech facility of epic proportions. Siemens' 110,000 square metre facility services the turbines and generators that keep the world's energy supply ticking over. And today, Keith Smith Jr. is the man responsible for helping to solve a power outage in Australia. The Rotor is a vital piece of machinery that's needed to repair a power plant.
This is a generator rotor that's fixing to be turned over to the shipping floor to start the packaging process. It will ship out on a 13-axle trailer to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport to be shipped to Australia.
The rotor is massive, 13.8 meters long, 2.5 meters wide, and it weighs 77 tons. This is the single most important piece of machinery needed to create our electricity. David Fail is one of the lead engineers.
This will go into a steam electrical power plant. It'll receive a small electrical charge to basically jump-start it. And then as it's spinning, that's when it'll actually start creating the energy that you'll eventually receive in your home. The steam rotors will actually spin the generator, and that will generate the electricity.
To build this massive rotor, it's taken 3 months, thousands of man-hours, and 82 different components. The energy company in Australia that need it are losing money for every minute it's not installed. The challenge now is how to get it there.
Are you gonna back that under the Jeep, or he's gonna pick the Jeep up?
I'm gonna back up under the
You're gonna back under the Jeep and then back under here.
The first part of the journey is only a 15-kilometre trip to the airport, but even this calls for a specialised vehicle.
All right, now we have the trailer as a 13-axle. And where you get 13 axles is this trailer and truck equals up to be 13 axles. So we have a stinger at the end which distributes the weight, because the weight is so much, 170,000 pounds from this generator rotor. So the stinger distributes the weight to the trailer, which the Jeep we just installed makes the truck longer and distributes the front weight. So now we have a full 13-axle truck that will be backing into the facility to load the 170,000-pound generator rotor. Let's hope this works.
It takes 4 sections bolted together to create a transporter over 40 meters long. The loading team attach a specially built air skid cradle in which the rotor is sitting to the crane using 4 high-tensile nylon slings and shackles, each capable of lifting 40 tons.
The danger here is one of the straps could actually fail. We have inspected all the straps, and they have been certified for this lift.
The combined weight of the skid and rotor is 80 tons, almost the crane's maximum lift capacity. And it's the first time the straps have been used.
It is a dangerous process, you know, a lot of the weight-wise, but I mean, at any time this could fall.
The rotor is worth over $1 million. It has to be lowered bang on target, so the weight's distributed evenly and the truck's not damaged.
Oh, you need it to go forward or backwards any?
Even a centimetre out could unbalance the truck and be catastrophic. Lowering it just millimetres at a time, it's carefully edged into place.
Ned, I'm gonna ease it down. Are you ready? All right, coming down.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hold it. Andy, not too.
Ready? Yeah. All right, coming down.
At last, they've got it down. But there's a problem.
What's happening is the driver has looked at his gauges. He gives him an idea of the weight distributed. So they have to lift it back up to move it towards the front of the truck to get more distributed weight properly. It is not quite on right yet.
You want to try it right there? Got about 6 inches from the deck. All right, Ned, coming down. Andy, you good over there? Well, I'm gonna let all the weight off. He's gonna check his air gauges again, just to make sure we're right.
About 58.
50, I'm on about 60.
60, okay, you're pretty close.
The pressure gauges are part of the hydraulic system showing the balance of the truck. With the rotor successfully in place, it's secured by 30 heavy-duty steel chains. It's taken 20 minutes to load. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., the mammoth 16,000-kilometre journey begins from Charlotte, North Carolina, all the way to Australia. Portsmouth International Port on England's south coast. Dating back to 1875, these days it's a ferry, cruise and cargo terminal, handling over 1 million tonnes of cargo. On today's shipment to Spain should be a truckload of supercars worth £1.5 million. But supercar transport driver Lewis Grimshaw is 2.5 hours away, having to navigate his 30-tonne truck through the streets of London.
Horrible squeeze, just the way people park their cars and also roadworks. It is horrendous, London. I absolutely try to do everything I can to avoid it, but fortunately, that's where a lot of the customers are. Just buses just stopping every 5 metres, trying to get round them, and just general havoc through the streets of London. It's an everyday occurrence, no matter what time of night and day it is. One day you'll get lucky, one day it's just horrendous.
Lewis needs to speed up, but given the cargo, he won't be going any faster.
There's always a bit of pressure when you have something this expensive on board. You like to treat everything as your own. If it's a Fiesta or if it is a McLaren Center, you like to treat everything as your own, and it is priceless. I'm a car enthusiast myself, and I appreciate all these supercars and these things like this, but I'm more of a classic retro kind of car things myself. I've got a Mark 1 Volkswagen Caddy pickup, which I like to enjoy. There is a big responsibility on your shoulders to get these cars to these owners so they can enjoy their day, because if any little slip-up happens here, that then destroys their weekend.
Over 2,000 kilometres away in southern Spain, owner Craig Williams has touched down ahead of his cars to start preparing for the event.
We've made it. We're down at the Ascari Race Resort in Spain. We're just north of Marbella up in the mountains. Beautiful vistas. I mean, just an incredible place. At the moment, we've got the pits behind us. They're pretty quiet right now. There's nothing there. We are waiting for some cars to fill them.
No sign of his supercars, but plenty of signs of bad weather.
Just been told by the local weather experts that it's rained solidly here for the last 3 weeks.
Back in Portsmouth, it's just as bad. Lewis has made it through London's traffic to catch the ferry to Santander in northern Spain just in time. But with a storm in the Atlantic picking up, it may not be a smooth crossing for the supercars on the 23-hour journey. "6,000 kilometers away at the Siemens factory in North Carolina, the $1 million 80-ton power plant Rotor is ready to roll. Charlton Winston, head of logistics, is responsible for making sure the Rotor gets to Charlotte Douglas Airport, 16 kilometers away, where its air voyage to Australia starts.
Some of the risks that we want to minimize is a rollover. Should the truck have a high grade that it's traveling over, if it tips, of course, that can cause loss of life or damage to the equipment itself. So we want to make sure that we mitigate any of those types of issues.
Charlotte Douglas Airport is 15 minutes away, but for a flatbed low loader, it's going to take a lot longer.
It'll take us about 45 minutes to an hour to get there, simply because we have to go at lower speeds because it is a larger, wider load. This one's looking great. I'm liking what I see. All right, Roy, we're good to go.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Thanks. We'll see you later.
All right.
All right, Trish.
Finally, the Rotor is on the move, with Charlton and the logistics team close behind to make sure everything goes to plan. The Siemens factory spends 20% of its time responding to power outages and breakdowns, sending urgently required replacement parts around the globe at short notice. For the Rotor on board, the transportation costs alone will be over £1 million. Charlotte Douglas Airport. This little-known terminal on America's East Coast is in fact the 7th busiest in the world, handling over 178,000 tons of goods every year. And today, after a smooth 16-kilometer journey with no tight corners, is one of the heaviest loads the airport has dispatched. 7 trucks full of specialist loading equipment are needed for this one piece of air freight. It's so heavy, it'll be the only cargo on the plane. Luckily, it's one of the biggest planes in the world. Paul Bingley is commercial manager with Antinoff Airlines.
We have around 8 trucks, one of which is carrying the Rotor. The various other trucks that are with it are carrying parts for the cranes that need to be set up to lift the Rotor onto the extension ramp, which will then allow us to roll the Rotor inside the aircraft. Big operation, and hopefully it will all go well. Just waiting for the aircraft now.
The aircraft has been delayed in Tampa, 2 hours and 800 kilometers away, and on board are more of the air freight crew.
We're probably looking at around 20 people so far involved in this particular part of the operation, but once the crew arrive with the aircraft, we've got another 17 on board. So it's a vast number of people that are involved in lifting something that is highly valuable, and obviously if there's a problem along the way, it's going to cost a lot of money to fix.
It will take 2 hours to prepare the roll-on tracks and equipment needed on the ground. But with departure time fast approaching, there's still no sign of the plane. Malaga, Spain. Home to a private race resort where the wealthy can race supercars on track. But the tarmac is eerily quiet as the man responsible for the next race event, Craig Williams, anxiously waits for the safe arrival of £1.5 million worth of supercars. On shift behind the wheel is driver Vaughan Saysell. Taking over when the ferry docked in Santander, he's completed the 9-hour, 1,000-kilometre journey across mainland Spain in good time.
Should be here shortly. I've been speaking with the drivers, been in fairly regular comms with them. Sounds like they had a very rough crossing, so I'm hoping everything's all in one piece in the trucks. Checked on the trackers, the truck is about 25 k's away, so it shouldn't be too much longer. When the lorries open up, I'm hoping that I see the cars all in exactly the same places as where we loaded them back in London, and just that everything's fine with them. Looking good. We just need to now get them unloaded as quickly and safely as we can and start proceedings. Unusual drill.
Usual drill, yes, mate, yeah, please.
Cool, cool. Do you want to take them off or do you want me to help?
Craig's eager to see if the 2,500 kilometre journey has damaged his fleet of supercars.
Nothing's moved.
Nothing's moved.
As we'd expect, but always nice to see it for real.
News of their arrival has spread fast.
Attracted a bit of a crowd. It's strange at Ascari, but supercars always attract people.
£750,000 worth are back on Terra Firma. But it's his McLaren Center, valued at £872,000, that Craig is the most anxious about.
Senna time. Time to get the biggest, widest, most expensive one off, so take our time with this. Always a lot of running around, but you have to just remember to sit back and be calm for a minute. That's why I got Vaughan to take the McLaren 720 off, just to give me 2 minutes just to chill out for a sec.
There you go, my friend.
Here we are. Time to contort myself back into the Senna. Watch that door doesn't hit anything.
Couple of inches, mate, couple of inches.
It's okay. Throttle's so sensitive. In 3, 2, 1, we are off. Perfect.
Safely offloaded with no obvious signs of damage, each car will be fully checked and prepped, ready for race day the next morning. Supertrack Race Day. And one of the world's greatest track cars with numerous lap time records is on standby. But having arrived safely, there's now trouble ahead. The unpredictable weather has sparked concerns about driving conditions. The head of track safety gives members of the Vivendi Supercar Club a debrief.
You might see the red and yellow flag because it's not dry, it's not wet. I think it's in patches, so we just take it easy and be aware because they're powerful cars and we obviously have to be careful.
And no overtaking.
No overtaking, obviously.
So just to enjoy it, but safety first, obviously.
Every member and every car get a spin on the track.
Listen to the noise of that. Love it.
And for one lucky driver, Zef Eisenberg, a chance for the ultimate driving experience.
Ready?
Circuit complete, Craig's supercars have triumphed.
What do we think?
Oh, yeah.
Mind blown?
720, Senna. Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it?
That's just, it's a race car.
Yeah.
Race car for the street.
The £1 million motors have survived without so much as a scratch, and Craig's amateur racers can fly home fulfilled. Soon they'll be loaded back on the truck, in time to catch the return ferry back to England.
So that's it, we're done. A wrap on an amazing day. Obviously a lot of effort went into getting the cars prepped, loaded, unloaded, and then getting them ready and out on track for a day screaming round Ascari. It's been absolutely brilliant. I'm thrilled it's gone so well.
At Charlotte Douglas Airport, the heavy freight haulage team are still waiting for one of the biggest planes in the world to land, so they can load the 80-ton rotor needed to solve a power outage in Australia. The Antinoff 124-100 was originally designed as a military transporter. It's been carrying oversized and heavy cargo around the world for over 25 years. It's now down to Head of Logistics Charlton Winston to do a quick handover, but he's concerned they're running 3 hours behind.
They've just flown in from Tampa. We got word that they were running a little behind due to congestion over there. Had they been any later, that would have put a lot of lost revenue on our customer because they are actually having some outage situations over in Australia. So they're losing revenue each day that this rotor is not there.
As it was designed to quickly load and unload military vehicles, the Antinoff can be loaded from the back or front. Given the size and weight of the rotor, it will be loading through the nose, which lifts upwards over the cockpit.
So I think the first thing you'll notice is the number of wheels the aircraft has got. 24 in total. We have 4 at the front. They will pivot shortly so that the aircraft can kneel forward. But the main gear, we have 20 wheels. This number of wheels are required because this aircraft is so heavy that if we only had 2 wheels, 4 wheels or whatever, this aircraft will just collapse. It's a high wing over the fuselage. Most wings we look at today, some of the aircraft that we see taking off, some of the aircraft we fly on, the wings are below the fuselage, these are above. This gives it much more lift because of the heavy weight. The flight deck. We have 2 sections, flight deck section and we have the technician section. In the upper deck, hermetically sealed, so they're pressurised cabins. And the way of entering is up this very wobbly ladder. So we're in the technicians compartment at the moment. So we have 9 technicians on board. These guys are flying engineers, so they maintain the aircraft as it's flying, but also they act as the loading crew. This is their living space. It's a long time to be in the air with no room to move about, but obviously they have good places to sleep. This is the toilet, and you wouldn't want to look down it, and we'll leave it at that. There are no windows because this is not a passenger aircraft, this is a cargo aircraft, and it was officially built for the Soviet Air Force during the Soviet Union era. So it wasn't built for passengers, it's not really built for comfort. I mean, you're not carrying any supermodels or famous actors, you're carrying cargo attendants and technicians that are there for a specific role.
And despite its less than luxurious interiors, after 16 years, Paul is still impressed.
I've seen a lot of loading, I've seen a lot of aircraft, I've flown on the aircraft a number of times, and it still never ceases to amaze me that something that weighs up to 400 tonnes can float off the ground. It literally looks like it's floating. So it's quite a phenomenal feat of engineering.
Outside, the loading ramp, capable of supporting 150 tonnes, is unfurled. 12 extending feet from the fuselage spread the load and keep it rigid. Inside, the cargo hold is 36.5 metres long, 6.4 metres wide and 4.4 metres high. While the pilots take a break, airside operations have just 3.5 hours to put together a ramp system with tracks and pulley capable of loading the 80-ton cargo. If they don't work fast enough, the rotor won't be going anywhere.
These cranes behind me have got to be out of here in just under 3 hours, so we've got a little bit of a panic going on. We've got to build the ramp system and get this piece loaded as quickly as possible.
The port of Montrose on Scotland's east coast. Formed on the banks of the River South Esk, this tidal harbour sees around 700,000 tonnes of freight pass through every year.
Bring them here.
Stevedoring within the port is Rick Shipping and its general manager, Mark Sesford. The load today, 2,500 tonnes of fertiliser needed for farms across Scotland.
The vessel coming in today is coming in from the northeast of England with 2 products. Primarily they're what we would call potassium-based, potash. Potash is one of the 3 major nutrients involved in crop production.
Unloading the fertiliser should be a straightforward operation for Mark and his team. But today, Mother Nature has other ideas.
Not the best of days today. It's going to be a challenging day.
Fertiliser is a weather-sensitive cargo. Unloading in the rain would spoil it, spelling disaster for the entire shipment, valued at £45 million.
If the product gets wet, it creates 2 problems. One, it begins to break down, but it also can have a detrimental effect on the other products that it will ultimately be blended with. what we're thinking is it's not good. It's a complete weather working cargo, and as you can tell, in the last 30 seconds, the weather has changed, and who knows what it's going to be in the next 30 seconds.
With the delay in the cargo's arrival, shipping manager Mark grabs the opportunity to keep track of the weather.
Right, so there we go. We've got a mixed. In the next couple of hours, there's potential for some light showers. Then towards 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it should be all clear. OK, I'm happy with that.
After delays due to bad weather at sea, the 2,000-ton cargo ship, the Olza, finally arrives in port with its shipment of Polish fertilizer. But with more bad weather on the way, an already tight offload window is in jeopardy. It's all hands on deck to prepare for offloading the 2,500 tons of fertilizer from the ship's holds. The delay means that manager Mark is already on the back foot, so the pressure's on to unload quickly before the weather worsens and the fertilizer spoils.
I imagine we're going to have very much a stop-start discharge, which will seriously impact on our overall efficiency. We're at the mercy of the weather, and we can only do our best and look after the cargo.
Taking advantage of a sudden dry spell, shipping controller Mark wastes no time in bringing out the big gun. A heavy-duty material handling machine. This 115-ton colossal crane runs on a pair of 8-metre-long tracks and boasts an impressive reach of 25 metres. With a cargo of 25,000 tons to unload, this will take Mark and the team 10 hours to complete.
At the moment, you'll see what looks like a sort of transformer-type machine. It's what we call a material handler. You can see it's got a big clamshell grab on it, this is a bulk material, it's loose in the hole, so it will grab it and place it in the transport when the next truck comes. We always aim for an average of 250 tonnes an hour as a minimum.
The machine scoops out the fertilizer from the Osler's 7-metre deep holds, which are protected by solid steel mechanised multi-fold hatch covers.
In years gone by, all these hatch covers would have been wooden hatches that would have had to be lifted manually and obviously very time-consuming, whereas now everything's all mechanised. So this product arrives in bulk, primarily for ease of loading and ease of discharge. That saves packaging. You've got to think of the environment.
9 metres above ground, Gordon McMillan, the driver of the material handling machine, has a bird's-eye view of the hold, which helps with the tricky job of gathering up the loose fertilizer.
You can see with the ease in which the machine goes down and is able to scoop up. So he can see what he's doing, he's in control. He's using the dead time just now where there's no transport. So he's taking the time to do a bit of housekeeping, to clean and grab and sort of keep the product all up here, which ultimately then helps in the overall time and speeds up the discharge.
But with the threat of wet weather still hanging over the operation, manager Mark can only pray for divine intervention.
We really just have to hope that sort of lady luck shines once in a while and gives you sort of a semi-decent break. You've no control. We have to be prepared to be flexible, and you have to sort of not put your life on hold, but it's shipping. We call it, in the office we call it, it's shipping.
It's a race to beat the bad weather, so offloading of the fertilizer continues through the night. As morning breaks, there's no sign of showers. For now.
Let's see just what the weather interruptions are, and we'll gauge it. But I'm quietly confident that by 2 o'clock the ship will be empty.
It's back to work for Mark's material handling machine, a crane capable of moving more than 250 tons of fertilizer an hour. The product is unloaded into tractor trailers, which transport the precious cargo from port side to the warehouse sheds.
14 ton.
And it's over to forklift driver Rab Leslie to move and tidy the product.
Since the boat came in, I think there's about 1,500 tons will be off. A good day will do 3,000 ton.
before it's scooped up by diggers in preparation for blending on site. Driver Rab has seen big changes in his 30 years working in shipping at Montrose.
A big ship 30 years ago would have been 600-800 ton. You'll not even get a ship that size now, I wouldn't think. Whereas now, some of the big ships is 6,000 ton instead of 600.
And for Rab, driving 20-ton forklifts is a family affair.
My father, he's him that started it. There wasn't enough work on the farm, so we come to help them out. And I've never gotten away since.
The front loader forklift's 24-foot-long blades can do a lot of damage in a busy warehouse. So Rab and his team of drivers must work in sync when moving the fertilizer.
The room we have in here, plus they stay in a sequence. The only thing that can go wrong is two machines, obviously machines coming in and out of bays. But Alan's obviously looking out for me, and I'm watching him in the camera here as well. Doing this job, we usually work from 7 to 7. We get a bag of chips to keep us going, we're sorted.
Back at the 2,000-ton cargo ship, the Ulza, the rain gods have answered shipping manager Mark's prayers, and his heavy-duty handling machine has cleared most of the 2,500 tons of fertilizer. It's now time for a forklift to help finish the job. The crane driver carefully lowers the machine 7 meters down into the hold. Forklift driver Rab and the team have finished the job, and the fertilizer is now stored safely in the warehouses.
Our last load tipped for today. Ship complete. We've managed to beat the weather. It's dry. It's happy days. We'll get home early for our tea tonight.
All that's left is to get everything ship-shape before the vessel leaves for its next destination. At Charlotte Douglas International Airport, North Carolina, one of the world's largest transport planes, the Antinoff 124-100, has finally touched down, 2 hours late. And the air freight team still have to prepare and load the Rotor desperately needed 16,000 kilometers away in Australia. The logistics crew are building a rolling track known as a skim. It will run from the nose of the plane to 2 cranes on the tarmac. They'll raise the 80-ton rotor off the truck and onto the skim, hopefully without any issues. The plane's impressive pulley system will then drag the rotor on board.
The main crane, it can pull like 12 tonnes, but if you want to pull more than 12 tonnes, you need to build a special scam. We have is already on board. Over here you can see the different scams that you can build to pull the cargo. There is one up to 15 tonnes, up to 30 tonnes, 45, 60, 80 and 120 tonnes.
Once the track is complete and the rotor loaded, the plane will begin its epic 2-day journey to Australia. From Charlotte, the plane will first head to Denver, where it will refuel before flying on to San Francisco. Another refuel, and it's onwards to Honolulu for a crew rest. But then it gets complicated.
The aircraft with its maximum takeoff weight of 402 tonnes includes the fuel, includes the payload of the cargo. It does require that number of technical landings because we can only take on a certain amount of fuel at each location before we move on to the next stop.
Fiji to Australia is the last leg of a long journey that will cost the customer well over $1 million. The last part of the tracks are being laid. Once completed, this ramp system will be one of the strongest and most rigid ever made for air freight, able to support 150 tons. At last, the Antinoff is good to go. The low loader is moved into place, and once the rotor is in position, the chain's released. It's now left to the crane operators to get it off the trailer by executing a tandem lift. the rotor is worth over $1 million. Transport engineer Will Fetter has the unenviable job of making sure it arrives in one piece.
During transit, takeoff, and landing, the rotor will experience several different forces on it, up to 2.3 Gs in the longitudinal direction, 1.5 Gs in the lateral direction, and up to 2.5 Gs in the vertical direction. And the rotor has to be restrained against this with inside its shipping cradle and chained against those forces in the aircraft itself. What we don't want to happen is the rotor to move at all during transit. That would be a catastrophic failure of a 77-ton rotor.
The lift is underway. 4 slings attached to shackles, able to carry 35 tons each, take the strain. The rotor is spun round at 90 degrees. It must be in line with the ramp system.
They're going to lay it down on the 4 platforms that we've got on the system. It's going to be overhanging slightly either end, but the weight of this rotor has been spread so that it's evenly spread throughout the whole piece. So the question now is just to line it up with the platforms, which as you can see is easier said than done.
The loading crew have chains to help steady it, but lining up a 2.5 metre wide load with 2.7 metre wide tracks takes time and skill. It looks like everything is aligned at last, and the signal's given to the crane operators to lower.
They're attaching the internal chains to the piece in order to prepare for it to be winched in the aircraft. So it's still not quite on the system yet. Still needs some adjustments, but also what they need to do is once it's on the system, it needs to be already locked in place so that it doesn't move backwards.
As soon as the team have unhooked the lifting slings and attached the 6 pulley chains, loading can begin. The Antinoff has a remarkable reinforced fuselage, cargo floor and ramp. It's fitted inside with an incredible system of overhead cranes and an onboard winch that can handle up to 150 tons of payload. Although it's the only cargo on board, the rotor is loaded with painstaking accuracy to ensure it doesn't unbalance the plane during flight.
It's 7:30 in the evening now. We're now going to have to shackle it down and prepare for the flight in about 2 or 3 hours' time. This cabin here is not pressurized, and with the bags around the rotor, we're going to have to cut them so they don't explode when they're up in the air.
By 9 p.m, the rotor is finally airborne. In an unbelievable triumph of logistics and engineering, 330 tons of plane and 80 tons of rotor takes to the sky. And just 48 hours later, having skipped across the Pacific, touches down in Australia. Where the nose door is lifted, unloading is a success, and power can finally be restored once more.